Welcome to Vilnius, Lithuania. My name is Claire Hawkins. I'm a traveling singer-songwriter, and right now I'm on a journey through the Baltic states here in Eastern Europe. Yesterday, we made it into our third of the 3 countries, Lithuania. You can check out my last video to see my first impressions of the country, but today we are starting here in Vilnius with a walking tour. Already on this tour, we're getting a lot of history really quickly, so I'm gonna try to remember everything that I can and share it with all of you. Behind me is Vilnius Cathedral. During the Russian Empire, it was turned into a museum, but now it is once again an active church. If you notice this red stripe on the ground here, this is to commemorate where the old city walls used to be. They're obviously not there anymore, and the reason is because they were taken down during the Russian Empire. And the reason's kind of funny. It was to let more fresh air into the city center. Originally, the river of Vilnius, where the city gets its name, flowed just outside these city walls, kind of like a moat around the city. Some of the river is now underground, which is why you don't see it right where we are. We are now here outside of the Presidential Palace of Lithuania. This isn't actually where the president lives. He lives about 5 kilometers from here, but it is his office building. It's where he works. Now you'll see there are 5 flags behind me. The one on top of the building lets us know when the president is in the country. So if the flag is there, he is in. If he's traveling abroad somewhere, that flag won't be there. There are also 4 flags in front of the building. Of course, we have the Lithuanian flag. That is the one with the yellow, green, and red. The yellow represents the sun, the green, the earth, and the red, the blood, to represent the struggles that Lithuanians went through in order to gain independence. Next to that, we have the red flag. That is the historical flag of Lithuania. And on either side, we have the NATO flag and the EU flag. Interestingly, this year, Lithuania is actually celebrating 20 years as part of NATO. Our tour guide also told us that there was recently a referendum to allow dual citizenship in Lithuania. However, it was not passed because not enough people showed up to vote, which is a good reminder. Get out and vote. We are now in a very beautiful courtyard where I think you can recognize some Italian Renaissance influence here. Our tour guide explained that obviously this is not a very practical style for Lithuania. You know, today I'm in short sleeves, you might not be able to tell, but it does get very, very cold here. Our tour guide said that back when she was in high school about 20 years ago, if it was cold enough, we're talking minus 20 something degrees Celsius, you didn't have to go to school. You could have a cold day like how we have snow days in the US.
I've been sitting on a highway, watching cars go by, thinking living in the fast lane could have kept me from hitting rewind.
The statue behind me depicts one of the pagan goddesses. Lithuania was the last pagan country to join Europe, so when that happened, there was obviously a lot of desire from other countries to influence the religion here in Lithuania. And apparently, in order to convince people to convert to Christianity, they were bribed with woolen shirts. Lithuania is now a Catholic country, but another religion here in Lithuania is basketball. That is kind of the main sport here, and one of the reasons for that is that the population of Lithuania is very tall. The average height here is much higher than in some other countries, so you can guess that they're pretty good at basketball.
Oh, these hands of mine, how they tell the time. All alone, sometimes I slipped away.
Behind me here is the very beautiful Church of Saint Casmir. He is the only Lithuanian saint, and this is also a great example of the beautiful Baroque architecture here in Vilnius. Right above the door here, you can see a depiction of baby Jesus. However, during Soviet times, this was not an active church. It was turned into a museum of atheism, which is very Soviet, and people were told that that was actually a baby Stalin, not Jesus.
And as I moved around, I swore I liked the sound, but I just can't get myself to say that.
We are now walking along some of the city walls. I will point out that the red ones over there are not original. Those were rebuilt. However, the bottom section of this part here is original, and the reason that it survived was because it was buried under a hill. I do think it's very funny that this is an IKEA ad, but if you see this pink soup anywhere in the Baltics, it is a cold beetroot soup. It's very traditional. I did try it in Latvia. I haven't had it here in Lithuania. I would be curious to see how different it is. It may be very similar. And apparently they sell it at IKEA. We are now crossing the river into the Republic of Uzupis, which translates to behind the river. Uzupis is its own republic, so it does have its own rules and laws. They even used to have their own army of 12 people, but then they decided to be pacifists and they disbanded the army. Along this wall, they have the Constitution of the Republic of Uzupis written in so many languages. They even have it in Irish.
A lot of things can feel like summer. Blue skies, a warm rain. It's so easy to hold on to what you know is gonna change.
This area is very well known for artists. So behind me we have the Swing of Destiny, which apparently if you sit on it, you will see your future. And over there we have the mermaid, who you don't want to make eye contact with for too long, or she will lure you to stay here in Uzupis forever. Also near here, there is border control, where you can get your passport stamped. However, don't do it because it's not considered a real legitimate stamp, and it can make your passport invalid.
All these hands of mine, how they tell the time. All alone, sometimes I slipped away.
We are just about to leave the Republic of Uzupis, but before we do, I want to share their laws with all of you. The first one here is, of course, that the only visa you need is a smile. Next, we have the speed limit here to remind you to slow down, enjoy life. Next, we have the Mona Lisa, because this is a place for artists. And finally, that little depiction there tells you that if you disobey any of these rules, they can throw you in the river.
And as I moved around, I swore I liked the sound, but I just can't get myself to say the name.
We've just ended our tour here on this street dedicated to writers here in Lithuania. This plaque in particular is important because it commemorates the cover of the first ever book written in Lithuanian. Lithuanian as a language is a very interesting one. It's one of the oldest languages in the world. Along with Latvian, it is one of 2 Baltic languages that still exist today. Up on this hill is the Three Crosses monument, not to be confused with the Hill of Crosses, which is not in Vilnius. We did go yesterday to the Hill of Crosses, however, so if you want to check out that video, it is on my channel now. Thank you all so much for watching. There is another video from Vilnius coming next week, so make sure to subscribe. And if you liked the music in this video, it was my original song, The Name, out now.
I'm working on my foreign